Okay, this is going to take some damn takes, but we're going to get this done. Anyways, hi everybody, I'm Braven. Welcome to my channel. We are going to pretty much do a full in-depth review of everything I'm maining for 2024, going into 2024, but obviously things can change in 2024 where I might buy other products. No idea. Might swap things out. Some things might break, some things might be replaced. No clue, but these are going to be my mains as of right now because I truly just want these to be my mains, and that's it. I'm pretty settled, except for obviously one just recent Christmas gift to myself, which is my audio headphones. But we're going to talk about those first and foremost. Before we get into all that, though, please follow, like, and subscribe. It truly means the world to me. Thank you. Give that to me as a Christmas gift, please. I would truly appreciate it. But I wanted to get this full in-depth review out because I wanted you guys to have options to look at in terms of why I main these and why I'm going into 2024 maining these, and maybe it'll help you make a purchase decision, especially because some of these have some good deals right now and some of these unfortunately you can't even buy anymore unless you find off the market somewhere else. But hopefully you do find all these products if you do want a specific product that I'm using for your setup. But anyways, let's just get into it because I don't want to spend too long on this video, even though it's probably going to be long, so forgive me if it is, but we got a lot of reviewing to do. So we're gonna start with audio, but please, like I said, follow, like, and subscribe. It truly means the world to me. I also have the links pulled up from Amazon, so I could put those Amazon links in the description, but I could also give you guys a visual a little better than what my camera can show you. So headphones, wow, these things are fucking awesome. These are probably the best headphones I've personally owned, but they're still in a testing phase. I have at least a month of testing these before if I don't want these anymore, I have to return them. But wow, at least for what my owning experience is, these are the best headphones I have owned. They compete pretty much neck and neck with the Edition XS that I actually ended up returning. I couldn't justify that purchase, but this one, I have all the reason in the world to justify these, bar none. But testing phase is important. These are the Harmonic Dyne Zeus Elites. That is a metal lattice that keeps them open back, and obviously you can see the kind of the zebra wood design on the headband there, and then you also have zebra wood ear cups, and they both are 3.5mm plugins for left and right into the ear cup with velour ear pads and perforated leatherette insides for the inner wall of the ear cups. And then also these are 50mm dynamic driver biomembrane with a Dachi with a Dachi CCAW voice coil in them. So these give really high resolution, very close to a planar sound for most songs, not all songs. That dynamic driver pops out, but the resolution does come out very well for these headphones, and these are very nice and comfortable, very plush. Also has a velour headband up top. And this cable is just so damn premium. I mean, look at that thing. It goes out to 4.4 balanced and a Go XLR plug-in as well as a separate cable. So this thing is nice sounding. It is beautiful. Fits on my head well. It is very comfortable. My head doesn't get hot. My ears do feel like over time a little warm, but not like hot where it bugs you, but just noticeable when you take them off. You're like, oh yeah, they were warm, but it's not bad. It's not uncomfortable. It's not anything weird. They actually do air out really well with the dynamic with the open back drivers on these. So very nice headphones. They do have a steel headband, as you can see, and then that is the serial number right there, which you can't see it, but it's kind of hard with the reflection. Forgive me for my lighting, but it is serial number 548. I don't know how many of these they made in general, but we ended up getting under the 1,000 mark, which is crazy because these are still like roughly new, about 6 months, you know. So surprisingly they're not selling like hotcakes because these are highly reviewed by a lot of people. But I'll show you guys the Amazon link right now. As you can see here, Linsoul's Harmonic Dyne Zeus Elites wired over ear headphone flagship 50mm suspension diaphragm open back headset with 2 custom IEM cable for audiophile musician. I guess this is considered somewhat of an IEM cable, but it's just because of the design. But this thing is just a premium, well kilted fucking cable, and it feels very durable. It's very good. So anyways, there you go. That's the zebra wood design in a better, more resoluted view of it, because it's a little darker in my room. It's hard to see that. Then you have the velour headband like we were talking about, and that lattice design of that metal grill. That thing is really, really nice. These things are super premium. They come with, this is the Go XLR version of that cable that I was talking about, and then obviously you have a suitcase, carrying suitcase that it comes in, which is fucking awesome. So I didn't show you guys a suitcase, but I have the suitcase right here. Obviously it comes in this suitcase, as you saw my recording software. It opens up nicely and you have the accessories inside. You put it all in there, you just snap it up and you're good to go. Boom. And you're taking your Harmonic Dyne Zeus on a stroll around the world to hear amazing sound. So quick description, these things are, I would say, on par if not better than the 900 Pro X for gaming, for positional audio. I personally think that if you're going to spend quite a bit of money to have the mix of music and gaming, this is the headphone to get, period, as of testing right now. But for gaming purposes specifically, I could tell you that pinpoint audio precision is there. You get high resolution audio. Every game sounds good. I actually think it improved Call of Duty's positional audio, which is fucking really hard to do with headphones. But I was actually hearing a lot more things with these headphones than I've ever heard in Call of Duty's terrible audio design. But every other game just sounds amazing, obviously. I hear really, really, really like different details that you didn't pick up before in songs and also in games, which is crazy because that's something that a planar driver at a high premium price tag would do. So these things are doing that, which is freaking insane. But yeah, I'm loving these headphones so far. Obviously, I want more time with them, and I can definitely say at least my caveats of the headphone is the build quality feels a little bit like worrisome on the ear cup, or not the ear cups themselves, but the headband going into the ear cup. I feel like that little grab, the little, say, like pinch onto the headphones is a little worrying if you don't, you know, really be careful. And I think my last recording I actually dropped them on the ground for a second, or not on the ground, but on the table, and I was like, oh shit. But take care of them, they take care of you, and you're gonna love them. I recommend these over anything at that price tag. They're $419 on Amazon, but you could add that $21 coupon, which will make it like $400, a little less than $400. But if you get it off the website specifically from Linsol Audio, then 100% that's gonna be the way to go, because that's $380, and I think they don't even charge for shipping after paying that price. I could be wrong though, don't quote me. But yeah, they're really amazing. And I didn't put the link for these right here, but I want to talk about these real quick, because I've been maining these for a while, and these are my on the go to go into work IEMs, and sometimes I'll use these for gaming. But the reason why I don't really want to talk about these anymore is because you just can't buy these anymore. And I mean, if you find them on the used market, you're literally a living legend, because these are really hard to find. But I couldn't be more happier with these. These are the Linsol, again, another Linsol product. I really like Linsol products. These are the Raptgo Hook X HBB collaboration, which is HBB's Hawaiian bad boy. He does like audiophile gear reviews. These IEMs are really, really nice. Has a nice cable too. I mean, it's nothing insane, but the cable has been holding up strong for me, and it comes with a couple different tips on, I mean, for plugins. And this is a 4.4 balanced out cable that I'm just using for everything now. That's all I need it for, so it's great. So I have that on there. And again, like I said, these are more for on the go. I use these for skateboarding outside. I use these for working out. I use these for at work. And then these are going to be just somewhat of a backup in a sense for gaming, because I'm going to be just using nothing but headphones for the meanwhile. Obviously, having these for a month, I'm going to be maining those for sure. But yeah, I am keeping these, and these are going to be my end game IEMs for now. There's nothing changing that. Mine is nothing I even want more than that. Comes in this carrying case, by the way. Very convenient. And then obviously when I use it on the fly, which it doesn't really matter, but I use the Fozzy Audio DS2. And the reason I got this is because products like these for your phones, very, very not durable. They're very trash. But this has a Type-C to Type-C cable plug that you could swap. So if anything happens with the cable, which is always the issue when it comes to these type of products for your phone, I could just swap the cable and my unit should still be a-okay. This comes with 4.4 balance out and 3.5 millimeters, so you have options. And this thing sounds really good, and it gets really, really, really loud, like really loud. So really, really good product. This thing's like $58 on Amazon. Just look up Fozzy Audio DS2. I can actually link that in the description, but I have to pull the link up later on because I don't have it up right now. So That's a good thing for on the fly, on the go, for audiophile quality. Thank me later when you look at it and listen to it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So the reason why I don't use Razer audio anymore, specifically because it's not that it's terrible audio, it's just there's leagues better that people don't understand. So that's why we're here at this point. But there you go for my audio, but except for one more I'm gonna show you right now that I can't show you on a pull-up, but here we have the FIO K7 DAC amp. It's $200. So I plug my headphones into this and my IEMs into this. I plug it into the balanced out, as you can see at the bottom, the little hole at the bottom, it says balanced. That's 4.4 out. You could plug a speaker system to the back of these and have both running. They got THX AAA 788 amps in them right down here. You can see that. They're dual AKM DAC chips, DAC modules right there. Really does come in handy, and the technical sound of these is nice. Puts out 2000 milliwatts at 32 ohm, and then 560 milliwatts at 300 ohm. And then you got return of refined sound. They're just trying to, you know, market it or whatever, but this is really, really good $200 DAC amp. If I were to recommend you on anything for $200, it would be this one specifically, because this one gets you literally everything that you want out of a DAC, and it's at a technical level and high resolution. So if you want that detailed audio separation and just overall like a velvety sound, this is the way to go. High resolution, velvety. It's safe bet, $200. It's pretty much beating everything out at this price point for DAC amps, in terms of just overall like usage plus, you know, output and all that. So really, you get this, be happy with it, be done with it. There's really nothing else you could get other than maybe like $100 DAC and $100 amp separately, and maybe you'll get something to compete with it. But I think this will even put out more power still. You get a cleaner output because of the THX amp in it, and then you have AKM, which is still a very, very good DAC chip, dual, by the way. So this is something that you really can't pass up. It's got good reviews on it, obviously. And there's only one left in stock, so order soon. But I'm sure they'll restock. I mean, they have the red one right here too, and I think the red one's in stock entirely. Yeah, you should be good. And the red one looks pretty nice, actually. If I was rocking something with a little bit more red in my setup, I would get it. But it matches with my setup that I have the black version. So yeah, it's a very good DAC amp, 100%. I went from the iFi Zen DAC V2 to this, and I can tell you right now that the iFi Zen DAC V2 is really good as well for audio, but again, you have to pay $200 for the DAC, $200 for the amp, and even then, I still feel there's like a limitation, just slightly. Even though it's $400, there's a slight limitation compared to this. So this is just an all-around better use case scenario for most people, and just overall better sound for most people. Though I will give it to iFi for having the better DAC chip in it. But this is just better. I think even the build quality of this is better and more durable, should I say, compared with the ports and stuff. The iFi Zen DAC didn't feel like it had the most proper ports to be used in their product, but it is a very nice feeling and premium feeling product. So anyways, I had a pause there for because I was like, which one is my overlay key? But anyways, so the other thing I'm gonna show you right now for another review is pretty much one of my favorite purchases, believe it or not, one of my favorite purchases of 2023, and I'm keeping this for the long run as much as possible, because this thing still feels brand fucking new, believe it or not. And this is the Razer Atlas glass pad. I mean, it looks, I need to wipe it down a little bit, but it still feels brand new, as you can hear right there. Tempered glass. There is a logo on the corner. It's hard to see it right there. You can kind of see it when I shine over it. There you go. But the Razer Atlas glass pads, it's huge. But honestly, for gaming purposes, I couldn't be more happier with it. And not only does it aesthetically look good, it shines my RGB well off my mouse, even though it's like one of the least important things. But man, does this thing perform. This thing is by far, I believe, the best glass pad on the market. If you're thinking about getting a glass pad, this thing, you don't need a sleeve to wear a sleeve when you're gaming, and it feels much more durable overall, and it's just better. It just, everyone talks about this being like a speed pad or a glass pad, because other glass pads kind of like have more friction for some reason. This doesn't. This is just tempered glass with a what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sure they have it in here. oleophobic coating or something like that. Oleophobic, I could be wrong on the pronunciation there, forgive me if I am, but the oleophobic coating, it's usually when you get a brand new cell phone and they put that like protection thing on it, so for it lasts like probably like a year or so with if you take care of your phone properly, over your glass. It's supposed to be like a glass protection. It's oleophobic coating. This thing has that on there, and so this thing just feels like it's protected. I mean, for a while, and obviously I've had this for a little while now, and it still feels brand new. So it's freaking nuts. One of my most favorite purchases, and hopefully this thing lasts me a lot longer because I really don't even think about anything else in terms of my glass mouse pad. I wholly recommend it. So I'll just pull that up right now. It's got a 4.6 star. Has micro etch surface, ultra smooth surface for quick swipes. Yep. Dirt and scratch resistant. Quieter mouse movements, and that's another thing too. So a lot of glass pads you hear like this one's like the quietest you could get out of those, and it even comes in white. Look at that. So if you want white, I mean, that is aesthetically looking pretty good. If you ask me, if I had a white setup, I would probably get this because that looks real. Well, I would get this just because of the pad itself, but yeah, this looks aesthetically pleasing and it's very good. It is $100 though, but again, glass pads all around that mark, if not even more, so you're getting what you're paying for pretty much. So, keeping all the links up too, so that way I don't lose track. But anyways, so what I've been wiping on it, 2 mice actually. I'm using 2 different mice. And I've downgraded, believe it or not, in terms of one mouse. So before I had a Basilisk V3 Pro, with the wireless charging dock, and I sold it, but I knew for a fact once I sold it, I was like, man, I miss the Basilisk. And I have my moments of the Basilisk. I think the Basilisk is just overall the best shape currently out for a mouse for me purposely. But so I went and got a little, you know, Basilisk V3 to suffice, and it's wired. But man, this thing is always going to be like my go-to mouse for the most part. It's gonna be like almost, I would say like my main, but it's not my main. This is on neck and neck with my actual 2 mains right now for mice. It's one of the most confusing things I've ever dealt with, but I have 2 mains for mice, and they're both neck and neck right now. But I can tell you this: 26,000 DPI optical sensor on this thing. Wow. This thing is performing at a very high level with 26,000 DPI sensor. It's not the 30,000 DPI sensor, but let me make sure I didn't freaking stop that. But it's not the 30,000 DPI sensor, but it is a very good sensor, like very good. And honestly, I could say the scroll wheel design on this one feels more durable than the one on the Basilisk V3 Pro. But the Basilisk V3 wired, I can say for sure, is going to stay on this desk until it breaks, because I don't even remotely think about another mouse while this one's here and the other one's here. These 2 mice are my mains for sure, and I don't see anything changing that unless something comes out that just completely blows my mind, or even a lightweight Basilisk. That would be something completely crazy that Razer throws at us. But yep, Razer once again killing it as usual. The PTFE feet on these are great. The optical switches are great. The side buttons are my favorite side buttons of any mouse. They just feel super nice. You got the DPI clutch button, which I prefer the one from the V2 series better, but this one still is very usable and nice. It still works just fine, doesn't bother me at all. And then I have Razer grips on it, so if I could take this off, this... Oh, that's another thing I forgot to put up was my my bungee. Whoops, I'll add that at the very end. But actually, I'll add that right now after I show this, just so we can get it out there. But this is the grips I have on it. It's specifically cut for the Basilisk, and that's how I rock this mouse. Very nice mouse. Like I said, RGB is beautiful on this thing. I love it so much. Not one of my favorite purchases because I downgraded, but it is definitely nice to have this V3 wired version, and it's super fucking cheap, as you can see right here. It's $40 right now. It's actually a 43% cut, so if you get it now, you'll have a very premium mouse, and it should be like an end game mouse for most people at this price mark. Like I said, there's some benefits to this mouse versus the V3 Pro, but a V3 Pro, like the white one, I wish they had a white one in wired, because that is a very nice looking mouse. One of my favorite designs of a mouse in terms of aesthetics that I've ever seen on a mouse. I really like this white version, but they don't have it for the wired. They only have it for the V3 Pro, so it's $160 if you want that version. But man, if I could have got it too, but I always skipped past it, or I never actually went to the store to actually grab the white version instead of ordering it online. But yeah, this mouse is just beautiful. It's absolutely stunning, and I would definitely own one of these. Maybe like as a collector's item, I will get one of these later on. Hopefully they get a V4 version that just looks a little bit better than this, and then it'll make me really justify having that look, because that looks sharp. I don't know about you, but that looks extremely sharp to me. But anyways, yeah, so V3 wired, perfect mouse right now for you know, as a side mouse versus like, it's more of like a use case scenario. Like there's days when I'm doing good with one mouse and it feels proper versus this mouse, but it's always never like the one same mouse just working all the time as intended. It's just weird for me. I don't know why it's like that, but it is like that. So there's days where I'm popping out the Basilisk and I'm doing fucking amazing, and there's days where it just doesn't feel right and I pull out the other mouse. So which we're gonna get to that right now. I did say I was gonna pull up the bungee. I'll show the bungee, and I have a headset stand for my thing. I'll show you both of that right now. I gotta pull up another. Okay, so with this mouse though, I am using the Razer Bungee V3. Again, very nice aesthetic, pretty pricey, but it's very durable and it's very well built. Probably one of the best bungees on the market. It's got a 4.7 star rating. Very nice, very good looking. RGB on the bottom. It looks beautiful on my desk. I fucking love it. I would show you that, but I have to pull it out, and it's a little bit of a pain in the ass to pull it out. But there's that, and then obviously where my headset stands on, and that is the I should have kept that link. Honestly, I didn't think about that. But then you have the Razer Base Station V2. I believe mine's the V3. I don't know if they have a V3 version, but I think mine's either the V3 or V2. Again, $106. It's pretty pricey, but you could plug in your headphones 3.5 millimeter on that edge if you wanted to, or you could plug it in USB on the front, and it does work. I have tested this. They have a little DAC in them. Not very strong DAC, but it's a serviceable DAC to make your audio sound a little better too, which is awesome. Something that they don't talk about in their information, which is kind of weird. But yeah, they do have a little DAC inside here. It does describe it on their website, so it's very nice. So you can listen to your audio through that as a source. But again, it's just more of an aesthetic thing, and I have a actual DAC, so I don't need it regardless. But anyways, so I put that out of order, so I'll open those up at the end when I open up the descriptions. But anyway, so the second mouse, obviously we could put that aside now. Even though it looks nice, we'll just keep it right there for view purposes. You know what I mean? Just make it look good. But anyways, I have another one of my favorite purchases of 2023, which is something that like I actually sold and then returned. So I returned it and then went back and got it again because it was just something I couldn't forget about after I did return it. It bugged me. It was like one of those things where I was like, I need it back. It's definitely a mouse that I need. It's the shape. I don't know. It's the sensor placement. I don't know. It is the Razer Viper V3 Hyperspeed. Now, it has no wire connection. There's no charging because it's battery, for those that were curious about this mouse. 82 grams. I didn't say the weight of the Basilisk on the Basilisk review, but again, normally it's 100 grams. But this mouse is 82 grams with the battery included that it comes with, but I have a battery mod, which I'm trying to pop it open and show you guys, which I could have just showed you another example, but this is the battery mod, which is a AAA battery inside this little case here, and then you throw that in there just like a normal AA battery would, and voila, you got yourself a lighter weight mouse. This thing right now is weighing at like 72 grams, if I'm not mistaken, with this mod. And I do have an alkaline AAA battery in there. Actually, no, sorry, it's 74 grams because the alkaline AAA battery in here is better. And personally, I say it's better because I have more control of this mouse when it's a little heavier. I know a lot of people want lightweight. You could get this down to 66 grams if you have the certain battery mod, and all that. It is very possible. However, this mouse right here is 74 grams, and I don't want it any other way. So I actually bought a pack of AAA alkaline batteries to get it to that weight. This thing has Gen 2 mechanical switches. Obviously, I didn't do a sound test on the Basilisk, but again, that's not really that important. It's an optical switch. It sounds nice. I guess I could show you real quick for the Basilisk. Oh, without clicking anything specifically. Okay, where's my... It all sounds really nice. But anyways, here's the Viper V3 Hyperspeed. Sound click. no rattle. And yeah, this mouse is nothing short of amazing. This thing is one of my competitive gaming mices. I know when I hop into CS with this mouse, sometimes this mouse is the mouse perfect for that, you know, flick, fast, response, accurate, and also micro adjust. This mouse's PTFE feet are the best that I've ever felt on a mouse stock. Also, the sensor placement on this thing is insane. That's the biggest selling point. You want this mouse because that sensor placement. That thing is really good for X and Y axis aiming. And the coating on this is like more grippy coating, but obviously it takes a little bit of warming up in your hand to get that coating to feel grippy. So I use grips on it still, regardless, side grips of where my fingers will be placed. So this mouse, really good. I only use this with the 1000 hertz dongle. This thing can go up to 8000 hertz polling rate with that wireless dongle if you bought it off the Razer website, but I purposely think it does not need it. Honestly, it's that good. It's that good. It's super fast. It's got a high response. Like the 1000 hertz is probably capped, if not overclocked, without even realizing it. This thing is super responsive. It is very good. You'll see me doing some crazy plays with this mouse, believe it or not. It is one of my favorite purchases of 2023, along with this mouse pad. It's something that I can't stop thinking about. When I do use it, I'm like, oh, this is a great purchase. So anyways, you got all the information here. It's got the 30,000 DPI optical sensor. I didn't mention that. 280 hours of battery life. Trust me, you'll never get battery degradation with an internal battery. It is definitely a good purchase if you're keeping this for like the long term, which I'm trying to. But obviously, it was made by top tier pro players. You could multi-device, connection device with this USB dongle, whatever. And then you got the Gen 2 mechanical switches. Again, they don't double click. They are fucking amazing. They did a really good job. This mouse is something special. It's got another high rating. You'll really like this mouse. This is what I switched to. This is what pretty much my main is. I'm going to just say this is pretty much like my overall main versus the Basilisk. But the Basilisk is like, sometimes that comes in and that just is the better mouse for aiming at the time, during that day or during that match or whatever game I'm playing. Sometimes it just is the better mouse to use. And it's good to have two options because sometimes you're just not feeling it for that day. And then all of a sudden your mouse is literally the difference of that. So this mouse usually is the one I go into games with, feeling the mouse and going, okay, this feels like the mouse I'm going to be using today. Or I'll go the Basilisk. And it's nice to have the Basilisk for productivity mostly, but also FPS games I could pull it out and I dominate with it. It's fucking nice. Okay, so here I can show you this a little bit. I didn't put the keycaps in the Amazon description, but these are the G-Skill crystal keycaps on these. I really like these keycaps a lot, and they shine the RGB through, obviously super fucking nice. But this is the Razer Huntsman Mini Analog. Now, I almost got a new keyboard for myself, or I was gonna ask for it for Christmas. I don't know if I am getting it for Christmas, because it's not Christmas just yet, one day away as I'm recording this, but we'll see. I don't know. It all depends what happens. Whoever gets me it, possibly, but at least as far as I know right now, this is my main. This is my main for the future. It's not the V2 analog or V3 analog. This is just the Huntsman Mini Analog, and I have it just barely tuned for the rapid trigger mode, which makes the switches really fast for gaming. And I do that because I don't think this keyboard necessarily benefits from rapid trigger too much, but the actuation speed just makes it a little bit faster and a little bit more accurate with having that rapid trigger on. But overall, very good keyboard. It's been very serviceable to me. I really like it. The only issue I'm having right now is Battlefield for some reason doesn't want to recognize it as a normal keyboard because analog switches. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to play Battlefield with this thing. And I do have a backup keyboard. It is the Razer Black Widow V2 Tournament Edition, but I don't want to keep plugging that thing up just so I want to use this later for another game. So Battlefield's taking a backseat until they fix that, and this specifically is just being used right now for every other game, and I'm loving it. So no fucking thoughts about that. Again, going into 2024, I'm keeping it until it possibly breaks, or again, let's see what Razer comes out with later on and we can go from there. Or if I do end up getting a keyboard, it's another keyboard, it'll be a fully modular custom enthusiast keyboard by Razer, and then we're gonna just make it fucking custom and keep that for like the long term. That would be like an end game keyboard for me at that point. But this right now is just competitive reasons why I got it, and it's way more than serviceable. So thank you very much, Razer, for this keyboard. It's not one of my favorite purchases though, but it is definitely a very happy purchase regardless. And then underneath it, obviously, I'm going to just show you, I'm not going to pull it up, but I'm going to show you on the Amazon. It is the Razer Firefly V2 hard pad. This is what it's sitting on. This is my old hard pad. I've had this for a while now, but it's sitting on here for the aesthetic purpose. And obviously, my feet on the keyboard don't slide on this surface. This thing is still really nice. Looks really good on my desk for an aesthetic reason. And yeah, I just really like this hard pad. If you're wanting a hard pad for cheap and you're a Hisense gamer that doesn't need much, you know, movement like all around, this would be a good surface for you. It is $50. And it looks fucking good on your desk. It does have a bungee plug, a plungy clips right there, as you can see on the top where it says Razer. There's 2 bungee clips, so you could, if you have a wired mouse, you could bungee it onto that if you need to. And then obviously, man's holding the Basilisk V2, Basilisk Ultimate. And yeah, it is a very nice hard pad. Very nice. I liked it. It's my backup, per se. It's a backup for sure if something happens. And then now we're going to talk about the PC. I know it looks good on view here, but it looks a lot better in person because, again, the camera don't do it justice. I have a lot going on in here, and I'm going to explain every little piece going on. I'll just keep the Amazon links up because right now you get a view of it. But pretty much RGB on the case. That's the Razer design of this case. And then you have RGB on the AIO cooler, even on the heatsink right here. Then you have the fans, all RGB. You have the AIO RGB, AIO fans RGB. Then you have the cables, power cables, RGB, can't really tell. And then the graphics card. So yeah, we're gonna talk about all of that right now. Here is my CPU. I'm rocking a AMD Ryzen 9 5900X 12 core 24 thread last generation, $342. Not a bad purchase. If you're doing more productivity stuff, I bought this because I'm a streamer and I was streaming on one PC, and I realized that it's not necessarily needed anymore. I do like this CPU, but I think I might end up getting the better gaming version of this CPU from the last generation, which is the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D. It actually performs better in games compared to this CPU, but this is like the 3rd best CPU out of the AMD whatever generation this is, the last, we'll just say the last generation, the 5000 series generation. This is the 3rd best one because obviously you have the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D, that's the best. Then you have the Ryzen 9 5950X, which is 16 core 32 thread, and then you have this one. So this is like the 3rd best CPU of that generation, and it performs very well. It's got 4.8 star review. It's very durable. Very awesome purchase. I love it. It is amazing, and like I said, it's going to be the keeper for the long run, but I may end up seeing some money on the side here and there and go, hey, why not upgrade, you know? Then I'll probably just pop that thing out, sell it, and then buy myself a new CPU. So anyways, kudos to AMD for that one. This is the RAM I was talking about. Again, this is one of those where you can't buy it right now in terms of what I got. I do have the CL16 version of this RAM, which is probably the best speed version of this RAM. This is only 2x8 gig though, but I have 4x8 gig, so that's 32 gigabytes of RAM in my setup of this brand. It's pretty good. I want to say it's like a Volkswagen when you're using these. I feel like they're kind of finicky. They have their moments, but when the performance is good, the performance is really good. It's like the best you could get for AMD CPUs. This right now says Intel XMP, but I guess it could be really good for Intel too. But it has an AMD profile specifically for it. But these are the Neos. So remember the Neos when you're looking for Trident Z, because they don't. So they have Trident Zs and then they have Trident Z Neos. So these are really good for the AMD platform if you're using AMD. But like I said, it is it's not easy to find. I think you can find these on Newegg. You can find these on different websites, but as far as Amazon showing Amazon, you can't specifically buy it from there. Then you have my motherboard, which is the Asus TUF X570 plus Wi-Fi, and this thing is an Amazon's choice overall pick. Everybody buys this motherboard. It's a very durable motherboard. It's got 4.7 star review. I mean, it's very good, and it's got a nice little RGB at the bottom right of it right here, and then you have obviously the AIO with all the ports, and then just a very serviceable motherboard. It's Asus TUF, you know. I trust Asus TUF pretty much more than Asus ROG and a lot of other gaming brands. So Asus TUF has been serviceable, very good. And I also just remembered that I forgot to add a a different part in here that I didn't show, so I'll add that right now. So I have this one. I have this. I'm gonna cut all that out, but I have this Asus ROG Strix 1000-watt gold power supply unit. Got this during a sale for it. I got a very good deal on it, but it's $150 as you can see right there, from options. But there's no featured offers available. But it's a very, very good. It's the ROG version of Asus. But again, I just bought it because of the quality. It's supposed to be a higher quality versus Asus Tough line, but this is just more of a safe choice for me when I bought this. But you can try to throw that like back right here, because that's where I was pretty much ending after that. But anyways, Asus ROG 1000-watt power supply unit, very, very good. That's the motherboard. Lee X Razer, again, this is now a legacy item, so you can't find this really anywhere. You have to look for it, very, very hard to find, near $200. But this thing is RGB case, very, very good. The only caveat that I have is, as you can see in the back of the grill right there, of the case, that doesn't fit a 120 millimeter fan. So unfortunately, I don't have a 120 millimeter fan there. I just have my RGB strip down there. I did not know that when I bought it, but it's okay. That was one thing where I just thought I could, you know, put a fan there, but I didn't realize I couldn't. It's got a 4.8 star rating out of 5. Very, very, very good case, very good cooling. Looks very aesthetically pleasing. It is just a nice case. People like it a lot. It's very, very good. And kudos to Razer for teaming up with Lee for that. Then you got the Lee Galahad AIO cooler, 360 millimeter radiator. This is an older version of their radiator, but I'm gonna tell you right now, this RGB is some of the most beautiful RGB you will see on a setup. Even the fans, just the fans alone, I would definitely recommend getting the fans. But I have the newer version, and I can tell you, versus the newer version, these fans colors are just like, I look at it right now, it just looks so beautiful. They just pop. It's so nice by Lee. They did a really good job with these fans, and the AIO circle is pretty nice too. It's very more minimalistic on the circle, but it still looks really good. Definitely been a serviceable AIO unit. 360 millimeter. I have it installed up on the case. So then you have the streamer cables. So this is the 24 pin. Obviously, this picture doesn't really do justice. I would show a video. I'm not trying to sit there and watch a video right now. But anyways, that's the cables going in. This is the 24 pin cable. And then I also have the triple 8 pin cable as well. Or no, sorry, I have double 8 pin on mine, but this is the triple 8 pin. I think it's, well, they're not showing it. But yeah, I think it's the double 8 pin that I have. This is triple. So yeah. A little cheaper probably than this one, but 2 cables for GPU and for motherboard. And yes, they're very, very nice and customizable. I would highly recommend getting them if you got the money for it. And then here is the fans that I'm using for my 6 fans from down and back. These things look really nice. They don't look as, like I said, the color doesn't pop as much on the older fans, I mean on the newer fans as much as on the older fans. They got a 4.7 star rating. They're very, very durable, good, quiet fans. But they have infinity mirrors in them, which is really badass. That's the cool thing about them. It looks like the RGB just kind of goes all the way and fades into it. Fucking badass. But they're really, really good, and a little pricier on the pricier side though, $32 for each one. But you know, when you want good, you get good. 4.7 star rating. Can't beat that. So my my OS, my operating system, and all my software is running off of this drive, because this drive is the most safest and durable, or not most safest, should I say, but it's one of the most safest durable drives to get. I know it says oh, this is a 510 series. I'm sorry, this is not even the right one. Why did I click the 510? I apologize. I have the 520. This is it right here. So I have the Seagate FireGood of 520. This is the exact one I have. 4.8 star rating, and this thing is freaking awesome. It's got up to 5,000 and 4,400 megabits of read and write speeds. But again, the purpose of this was like, it's a little bit slower in read and write speeds compared to higher, or not higher end, but more competition. But it's the most durable and most safest. I don't have OS crashes. I don't have any software crashes really, except for obviously bad just optimized games. But this thing has just been very durable. It's very serviceable. M.2 SSD. This thing is just protected through and through. It's a really, really nice SSD. I like this one a lot. I would actually end up in the future probably going with another Seagate Fire CUDA for gaming. Hopefully they could up the speeds on another one, and then I'll get that for gaming just because hopefully that would cause or help with any kind of crashes in other games. So, but this is the one I'm using for all my games now. I have a 1 terabyte version of the SN850X. Believe it or not, you can see it's like only like $85 or something like that. It's not showing the price on here because they're not selling it right now on here. But you can find this. I know for a fact you can find this on other websites like Newegg. It has a gaming mode, but it gets up to 7,300 megabytes read and write. Very, very good for performance for gaming, but in terms of durability, I can't say for sure. In terms of like crashes and stuff, again, some games sometimes crash, mainly Call of Duty. Obviously it's terribly optimized, but there's some games out there that are just like, you know, they run a little bit rougher depending on the game. But overall, this thing is a solid purchase for the price, and it does have a gaming mode, which does help with rendering and stuff in certain games. It's actually really, really, really good SSD. I say it's neck and neck with the Seagate Fire CUDA, but the Seagate Fire CUDA definitely is just more durable, and definitely, like, I know if I threw my OS on this, it would probably crash. But the Fire CUDA is way better personally for durability. So, but yeah, WD Black, great brand. You can't go wrong with them. You'll be happy with it. This is the RGB heatsink for the M.2 that I have my games on. So for that WD Black, because obviously it's nice to have heat dissipation for your M.2 SSDs. So that way, if you're running really hard or trying to load in a massive world, say for example Cyberpunk or Starfield, this helps a lot with keeping that SSD cool so it doesn't have a hiccup in it when it to crash or anything. It's only $20, and it looks really nice. It has infinity mirrors as well on it, so it's almost identical to the Infinity fans on the Lee & Lee, but it's just a little bit more spaced out. So it's fucking awesome. It actually matches, and then also the addressable RGB literally goes with the addressable RGB on your software side. It'll match up with it, so you can. It's literally coinciding with everything else. It's cool as fuck. Pretty crazy how it does that. And then obviously my storage for all my videos and clips and all that, and pictures or whatever I have going on, is this Samsung 500 gig 860 EVO. It's an older not M.2 SSD. It's a SATA SSD. It's almost $100. It's actually more expensive than even the 850X that I got in there from WD Black. But this thing is serviceable as hell. It's very durable. It's very good. It's lasted me a while, and I'm just throwing all my clips and videos onto there, and they all render really fast. They all fucking load up really good, crystal clear. It's really nice. And all you really need is 500 gig for saving a certain amount of clips and videos, and that's it. Very, very well. We're getting to the end here, so I can finish this up. Asus TUF 27-inch 1440p monitor. This is what I'm rocking for gaming now. I did have the 1080p 280 hertz version. I upgraded to this for my new setup, and then this thing's amazing. 260 hertz, 1 millisecond fast IPS, extreme low motion blur sync. That is a very big purchase decision there. If you want clear picture, you want that. G-Sync compatible, FreeSync Premium. So FreeSync it's mainly for a FreeSync monitor. It does show an NVIDIA G-Sync sticker on it. I don't know why it shows that, but it's mainly for AMD. It's like the AMD staple for it. And then you got variable overdrive and then display HDR 400. So very, very good monitor. It's flat. It's a flat screen IPS. Colors are very, very nice on it. Smooth picture. Very durable feeling. It feels very premium for Asus TUF brand. HDR is pretty good. I would say it's not the amazing, but it's pretty good for being 400. 400 is the lower end of HDR. Still very good though. But the Asus Extreme Low Motion Blur Sync. The only thing I could tell you for sure that it is an issue if you're in a well-lit place. ELMB sync is not a very good thing to use because it is very dimming of the monitor screen. If you're in a dark environment, great. If it's too light inside, it's gonna not show that well. It's gonna be a little dimmer. So definitely keep that in mind when you're making this purchase decision. But 1 millisecond response time, 1440p, fucking very buttery smooth, looks good, feels good, everything. But again, like I said, the caveat is once again that dimming is just a little bit of an issue, and that's it. other than that, it's been very, very good. Colors, like I said, pop on it, and I chose this over fucking couple monitors I was looking at. I was looking at even higher priced monitors, and I ended up just sticking with this one because it's really nice. You could buy a new for $385. It says cannot be shipped to your delivery location. That's weird. I got it when it could, I guess. I got it actually when this first release. This is their newest version of this. And I know it says 3.8 star, but the reviews on it, if you look at the reviews, they're kind of stupid. It's just like, oh, the plug didn't come in properly, like the cable or whatever. And yeah, it's a little annoying, but they're like fucking $5-6. So that you could get an HDMI cable, you could get a DisplayPort cable for cheap. And there's nothing about the build quality that was bad. This is a very, very good monitor. So at least in my experience. And then obviously what you guys are hearing me on, which I didn't really talk about, the Razer Siren Mini mic. I threw it in at the end because I totally forgot about it till the end. Very, very good. Oh, I didn't even talk about the camera either. I'll pull that up right now too. Fuck, I'm really bad with this. Well, not bad with this, but I'm really just not thinking fully. Razer Siren Mini USB condenser mic. Again, cheap. If you find this for cheap, it says 2 options for $130. You can find this for $50 somewhere, even $34. I mean, right here, $34.99. It's not 100 something bucks. People are just selling it out their ass with that. This thing is very serviceable. It's all you need, really. You hear how I sound. It sounds good. It's nothing crazy. But for the price, you could get away with it. It looks really good. There's not much customization other than through Windows, but other than that, it's all you need. Very, very good sounding, very, very durable, 4.6 star rating, really, really nice. And then last but not least, I couldn't find it on Amazon. I don't know why Amazon's not selling it anymore, but it is my graphics card, which is the AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT, as you can see there. Looks really good. It has RGB. I mean, it's not showing the side. Oh, right there it is showing the side. So it has RGB on the plate on the front where the fans are, and then on the side where the heatsink is, RGB. Looks really good, runs super strong. It's got a 5 egg rating. I don't know why it's not star, but 5 egg rating. Honestly, it's just really good graphics card for the price too. I know right now it's showing Phantom Gaming 20 gig. $779, $780. I got this thing for $720, and I got Starfield for free, $100 value of Starfield. So literally it was like $620 value for this graphics card. If you just wait for deals for this graphics card, get it, because that deal for this graphics card is a very, very good serviceable graphics card. Haven't had issues with drivers really at all, except for, again, some games that are just aren't optimized. It's a very, very good graphics card. So is the Razer Kaio Pro. It's got a 4.4 star rating. When it first launched, it had a lot of issues. And I mean a lot. I still have the old one because it was that bad. I had quality life issues, and it was a normal thing, but that thing was terrible. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this one isn't that bad. But it was normally a $200 camera. It is now $80, 60% off. I got this thing on Black Friday for cheaper than that. But that was the only thing I found on Black Friday, which, believe it or not, Black Friday was terrible this year for sales. So this thing I got, it's a good camera, as you can see. It's a good camera for what it is. 1080p, 60 FPS, a wide field of view, adaptive light sensor. It is a good camera for what it is. But again, advanced imaging, absolute fidelity, yada yada yada. It's a good camera if it stays serviceable and good. That's all I have to say. Because hopefully it does. I don't know. But anyways, that should be it. 2024 going in strong. Full sending. Let's see what happens. Please follow, like, and subscribe. Let's really try to get this channel growing. We're gonna take this seriously, edits and all. TikTok, YouTube, all that shit. So let's just get it going, full sending, and hopefully get a lot of good content. We're gonna be playing the finals, a lot more finals gameplay, and then obviously XDefiant when that launches, and playing a lot more story-based games too. But really just enjoying gaming, enjoying your setup. That's what we all should do. Enjoying your setup, listening to good music on your good audio setup, and then just fragging out in some games, playing competitive. So let's have that happen. All right. See you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm out of here. Adios.